Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin stocks, and we're going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin too. So with that being said, let's get it. Okay, so you guys already know how we do this. We try to look for patterns in the markets that either rhyme or repeat to give an indication of where the markets are likely to go next, okay? So we did this once during this pullback in time here, and again, I know crypto hasn't gone anywhere, but I mean, really, when you get a move like this to the upside, there's really only three things that can happen. You can keep moving up, you can go sideways, which is known as a pullback in time, or you can actually pull back. And in this case, if there's not going to be a pullback, then there's probably going to be a pullback in time, okay, which is kind of what we're seeing right now. So we have this September, October breakout, right? Well, see if I can find it here. So you guys can see right here, once we got out of this sideways channel, back here in 2023, going basically right around the same time, March to October. Seeing the similarities here. Then we got this big breakout. So pretty synonymous there in the moves, all right? So something I wanted to show you guys here is this, and I just noticed this on the charts recently and wanted to bring it up. So after we got that move in October, what did we do in 2023? Between 2023 to 2024, we had a big move up into November, December, and for December and January, we mostly went sideways, okay? And then in February, at the start of February, we started really ripping all the way into March. Now, do I think it's going to play out exactly like this? Maybe, maybe not. It may not play out exactly to a T like that. We might start moving up in the second half of January, maybe a little further towards or after the inauguration. I don't think it's going to take until exactly the first week of February to start ripping, but we'll see. But if I throw on the drawing tool, I want to show you something here. Okay, so even though this move was mostly sideways, you had a sweep of the high, a sweep of the low, and then you had a big move up. Okay. So this is what I like to refer to as liquidity hunting or stop loss hunting, or in other words, basically Wall Street looking to stop traders out of their positions before moving in the opposite direction, basically pulling liquidity into the market, out from traders into the market, and then boom, take off to the upside to provide more of a ramping stage to make more money. That's kind of just how it goes, right? Usually, I've noticed in trading a lot, what will often happen is usually, like let's say I'm long, for example, and I have my stop. Well, actually, I have to zoom in for this. So let me zoom in real quick, give you guys a kind of a live example of what this might look like. So let's say I'm trading this and I'm like, okay, I'm going to trade the range, right? Buy the low, sell the high. So I'm long in this case. I would have put my stop below this red candle wick right here, okay? But if you zoom in here, what happens? And again, I get rid of this so you guys can actually see the wick here. So I'm thinking I'm not going to get stopped out because it's below this wick right here and below this candle, right? But what happens? A longer wick comes down, stops me out, probably a bunch of other traders too. And then what happens after that? The big move to the upside, right? So in this case, the smart money, as they're called, has to wreck both the bulls and the bears properly in both directions before eventually getting the move that they're looking for, which is why there is a sweep of the high and the low. This is known as liquidity hunting or stop loss hunting. Okay. So we're actually seeing something very similar right now. So mostly sideways, but what do we have here? A sweep of the high. We recently just saw a sweep of the low. So theoretically, we should see another massive move up after this. Okay. And I got to zoom in here for you guys to really see this. So it's possible we may not have even seen the full sweep of the lows yet, but you guys can see this. We had this green candle and everybody thought, oh, it's a bullish hammer candle. It's going to break out. I even thought so. And then boom, what happens? You get this wick and then bang, straight down. And then it appears that we swept these wick lows here, and then we might be getting ready to pump back to the upside. Okay. So just wanted to show you guys that fractal real quick before we get into the actual content here. And the funny thing is it happened right around the same time frame. Okay, November to January, whereas this one back here was also well, not exactly the same, but December to February. Okay, pretty very similar time frame. All right, so enough about that. Let's go ahead and get into Coinbase and MSTR real quick. Okay, so Coinbase, we're still within this kind of channel pattern here. It is a pretty textbook channel, so I'm expecting this to break out. The target to the upside would be at that 350 at the top of the channel. The 4-hourly has actually recently indicated an oversold signal, which, as you guys know, usually when that happens, there is a big move up. You can see it back here in October, big move up. September, big move up. August, a decent little move up. It wasn't, obviously, this was a bullish divergence of some kind, but still it did have a decent little move up off those lows from about 160 to 209. And just going forward in time, based on the timing of the cycle, I'd say likely these stocks and the miners are going to go up pretty soon. When exactly, I don't know. Probably this month would be my guess. I'd be shocked if it didn't happen this month. But regardless, we're kind of retesting this structural level here, and it appears that we've broken down from it, but this could also be an undercut too. It depends on what next week's trading action shows us, but again, I mean, it's hard to know for sure now. If we get a big green candle that shoots straight up from here, then obviously we know it was an undercut. If it goes down further, well, it was not an undercut, so we'll have to see. Either way, I'm pretty bullish on Coinbase. I think it's got a lot of upside going forward. Okay, so MSTR. I'm going to show you guys the 4-hourly time frame again. Again, we did recently just get an oversold signal in early January. Nice little move up from there, just to show you that these position trading indicators work. So 34% gain on that case. The September one was absolutely stupid. If you had caught this one on a position trade, holy crap, dude, you would have made bank. 380% from the bottom to the top. That's huge, right? And again, we got one here. We got one here. You can see pretty much almost every single time it times the bottom to a T. So pretty bullish stuff, if you ask me. So anyways, with that being said, I think there's a strong likelihood that MSTR is probably going to hold these levels. It looks actually quite similar to Bitcoin, if you ask me. Just kind of sitting, like this would be the 82 to 92,000 right here. This would kind of be maybe the 95 to 100,000 level. On Bitcoin, you can already see the similarities if you remember what the chart looks like. But yeah, so anyways, 285 to I'd say about 330 on this one could potentially be a good area to pick some up. Do remember that the EMAs are supposed to be a retracement tool there, and the price is eventually supposed to go back and retest those during a trend. So about a 90% gain to get back to the top here. And if I give you guys a Fibonacci retracement on this one, you can see obviously the next level up here on the Fibs is pretty far up there. It's a $700 MSTR. Do I think that's possible? Absolutely, especially with the pro crypto admin we got coming in. And for Coinbase, $520 Coinbase, even this lower level one here, 1.618, still 420 roughly. So you're talking almost a 2x at that point. That's pretty good. I wouldn't be upset about that. Okay, so let's go on to the miners here. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the 4-hour on this once again so you guys can see just how much confluence there is here. So every time we get one of these oversold signals, usually it's a pretty strong indication of a bottom or being near a bottom. It's usually a pretty big move up after that. We just saw one recently last month. Same thing for Riot, kind of sweeping the lows there on the RSI lower level every time this got a swing low in the recent months. It's not a perfect oversold signal on that one, but on CLSK it is pretty much as perfect textbook as you can get. Last time we got one in November, a huge rally. Then September, obviously that was a pretty sizable rally. August, this was a bullish divergence in this case, but still from this low down here all the way to the high was still a pretty good size move, like 30-something%. HUD 8, very similar story, almost got oversold last month. Cipher, this one did get oversold. BTBT also got oversold. BITF also oversold twice. Hive twice, iren got oversold once, and not perfect. It's not textbook here on Wolf, but pretty close. It looks like 2, maybe even 3 times on this one. And keep in mind this oversold signal on the RSI on the 4-hourly time frame. Regardless of market conditions, it doesn't really pop up that often. Okay, it's usually like maybe once a month, once every couple of months, once every 3 months. You might get that same signal on this exact same stock. Okay, so it's pretty rare. All right, so anyways, 18 to about 20 here for the support zone on Mara, 28 going all the way up to 33 here for targets. You guys already know my stance on Mara. It could easily go up to 50 or 60 bucks. 86% gain here. It is within the buy zone. You guys can do what you want to with that. It has been in that area for a long time, and it has usually gone back up to that 30 area pretty shortly after that. So next one here, right? I'd say anywhere between this $11 area up to this structure line here at about 1240-ish for a good buy area. And then 1880 to 21 for targets up here for about a 98% gain. CLSK. So it's within this falling channel that is a bullish pattern. The target for the top of the channel is $18. I think the price has moved too far down at this point to say this is a bull flag, because usually a bull flag, you want to see a long flag and kind of a small, or I mean a long pole and a small flag. This is kind of a large flag in this case. I don't think it's suitable for a bull flag pattern. But regardless, a descending channel is still a bullish pattern. So target is the top of the channel. That's 18 bucks. It's pretty much currently at the buy zone that we would be looking to buy this at. So 10 to about 1150 on this case, with targets going from 2130 all the way up to 2350. CLSK could easily go also to probably about 50 or 60 bucks. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so 140% here. HUD 8. Those of you guys that are from Canada, what do you think about Canada becoming the 51st state of America, huh? I'm just kidding, guys. But we'll just have to see how that plays out, right? Anyways, let me know your opinions about that down below. Okay, so HUD 8, I'd say the buy zone right now anywhere from this kind of 20 area to 2240. Targets going 2740 up to 33 here. Nice big 60% gain. Cipher. Okay, so this triangle or potential bull flag pattern did not play out like I thought it would. So that's always possible. Any pattern price pattern that you look at, always usually whatever it is will have a high probability scenario and a low probability scenario, which means it's rare that it goes against the direction it's supposed to go, but occasionally it does happen. So in this case, that was the case. But anyway, Cipher is currently at the buy zone. So buy zone anywhere from 5 to 550 here. Targets going from 10 to 1050 for about 115% gain. This is why I say that traders always wait for confirmation. Those that especially people trading with big money, they really want to see the confirmation. They don't want to assume the direction of the market, because that could potentially be dangerous. Okay, so btbt stuck in between the EMAs. So it's tough to say exactly where a good buy area is on this one. I mean, you could wait for $160 to $2. Do I think that's going to happen? No, probably not, because it's in a bull trend. Maybe somewhere around 340 to 380, somewhere in the EMAs. I mean, it's a relatively cheap stock, so you're not really paying much for this. So 420 to 580 for targets here. We'll just say worst case scenario, 250% gain, or best case scenario in that case if you're actually waiting for that dip, and 75% respectively. Okay, so BITF, so we did get a breakdown of the structure. It went to the downside, not to the upside. This could always be an undercut. It could just, do something like this. That would not shock me at all. The markets are notorious for doing something like that. They like to try to trick traders or investors into thinking that they made the wrong move. It's a psychological trick that the markets will use to try to spook you out of your positions. I'd say the current area right around this 150 is actually a pretty good area to buy, because you can see it's been struck multiple times. There was also a gap way back here. that had to get filled. Obviously, that got filled, but you can see these candle bottoms here. Multiple of them are kind of hitting around that 160, 150 area. So anywhere in there up to 240, I'd say is good. 290 going up to $4 for targets here for potentially about 150% gain. Hive. Let's see here. Hive, this one's pretty close to the buy zone. You guys can obviously do what you want to with that. Obviously, the closer it gets to the green box, the more bullish it is, because again, the bear market lows were essentially right below that zone at 150, so it's not really that much. It's about 50% lower than the current price, but I mean, it could be much greater of a drawdown than that, so the risk here is pretty small for this one. So buy zone 215 to 280 on this, with targets going anywhere from this golden line at 5 all the way up to 770 for potentially about a 250% gain. Okay, last but not least, iren. So this could potentially be an ascending channel, or sorry, not an ascending channel, ascending triangle. That's what I meant to say. And the way that you would measure this is you measure the start of the triangle to the top of the triangle. In this case, obviously you wouldn't know it is an ascending triangle until later on in the pattern. And then you would just pull this measurement out from the breakout point. So you're looking at about 2750 on this one if it plays out exactly textbook like it's supposed to. Anywhere on this gold line is a good buying area. EMA is lining up nicely with it. That's some strong supports. So right around that 950-ish. I'd say targets anywhere from 16 to 2760 on this one. And for those of you guys that say, oh, that's ridiculous, that's not going to happen. Trust me, dude, when I tell you it absolutely can and probably is going to happen. I can't guarantee it, but yeah, I'd say this is pretty strong likelihood that's coming, okay? 180% gain. I mean, dude, look, I'm going to show you guys one more time, okay? As soon as Google came out with the news, and I'm pretty sure this was the catalyst because these quantum stocks started ripping and doing stupid gains pretty much almost immediately after that took place. I wish I would have been paying a little bit more attention. We probably could have got some of these quantum stocks for pennies on the dollar, but is what it is. But anyways, as soon as that news catalyst came out, these things took off like an absolute monster, dude, out of nowhere. Okay, out of nowhere. Nobody probably even saw it coming, maybe except people that were focused on this thing that had the vision to say, well, oh yeah, if this company comes out with this news catalyst, what do you think this is going to do, right? I have the ability to do that too. I just was not paying attention to the quantum stocks at that point in time. As you guys know, we're focused on crypto, so this kind of threw us for a loop. We were a little surprised, but you can see the gain was massive here, okay? Roughly about 2-3 months time, 1,050% gain on this one. And obviously all the others did huge gains too. Another good example of this is when G-Link all of a sudden took off from down here to up here, did a 5x move. That was on the news that Trump had bought some Chainlink. And in a very, very short period of time, 6 weeks, this thing went up literally a 5x. So for those of you naysayers out there that say, oh, it'll never happen, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Guys, I've been doing this for almost a decade. I've seen probably hundreds, many hundreds, if not over 1,000 of these same exact situations play out. Trust me when I tell you it can happen, okay? Anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.